Well, ladies and gentlemen, welcome on in. It is a Wednesday night. It is the last stream of the week, and we are going to finish on an absolute bang for you. From downtown, bang! With the Golf League Dynasty Rookie Draft. Real league, real money. We've got our community here. Golf's been going around a long time. I do love my people in the Golf League. Shout out to y'all. We'll be getting into that draft here in 1 second. I appreciate y'all greatly for, continuing to support the show and, kind of hanging out with me and vibing with me. We do have Sammy. We've given him the night off. I should say we've given Sammy the night off. He texted me, and said, hey, please, sir, may I have a night off, for good behavior? I said, yes, we'll give you one night off. But now he's going to go see The Devil Wears Prada 2 with his girl, so being a good boyfriend. Let me know who I'm hanging out with, though, who's in the chat here. What's up, Rick? I see you. Style says the 2-times champ is here. What's up, JT? What's up, Forbes? What is happening? Mike and Albert in the building. What's up, Danik in the building? Appreciate y'all coming here, hanging out. What's up, Tiz? What up, Michael? Henry, we do have a lot to talk about here. To start the show. We'll get into this draft here in 1 second. But obviously, the big news that just went down is that Devon Achane signs a 4-year extension, $68 million, making him the NFL's third highest paid running back at $17 million per year with a $32 million guarantee in the deal. It's interesting because it's not exactly a surprise that he gets extended. He was one of the best running backs in the NFL last year. He has been one of the most dynamic, explosive weapons in the NFL for quite some time. So, that's not necessarily surprising. What was surprising me was looking at, as we're getting into May, June, closer to July, I have my redraft rankings in place. And what I was really surprised by was how low people were on Devon Achane, right? I mean, if you look at these are my right now initial redraft rankings here. And I think there is a top 6 this year with Bijan, Gibbs, CMC, Chase, Puka, and JSN. There's certainly a top 6. But I thought, without a shadow of a doubt, that everybody would have Achane at 7. Like, clearly at 7, no other questions asked. But a lot of people don't even have him as a first-round pick. I think consensus ADP actually had Devon Achane around the 15th or 16th ranked player in redraft drafts or in best ball streets if you're drafting in best ball. So it's a little frustrating because I thought we were going to get a huge value on Achane. Now he's probably going to be a consensus first round pick. But I am thrilled to see him sign a long-term deal. Yeah, Miami's not going to be the best offense this year, but at the same time, he will be the man, like at every point of this offense. If they're down in games, they need to throw the ball, he's going to get plenty of targets. If they're up in games and they need to establish the run, he's going to get plenty of opportunities to run the ball. I don't see how this guy doesn't touch the ball 300 times in Miami this year, so definitely for dynasty purposes, I don't really know how we could possibly move him up any further. He's still in this tier, being as high as RB3, as low as the RB6. You could put him over Hampton if you want, but this is what we needed to solidify him in this tier. It certainly doesn't change too much for me personally, but obviously it's great to see the deal get done. Appreciate y'all big time coming in here and hanging out with me. We're going to jump into a real draft here in 1 second. But I am going to do a giveaway today. And if you would like to be a part of today's giveaway and potentially win a Dynasty Playbook, customized review of your Dynasty football team, I'll give you 2 steps to enter. Very simple. Step 1 is to simply like the stream. That is step 1. Step 2 is to type our code word of the day, which is Orion. Orion is the code word. Why is that the code word? Well, we announced over on our Discord earlier this week that the next league is available for you to enter, the next LAN league, real Dynasty startups, real leagues that are happening every single Monday. We're drafting real leagues on the landleagues.com website. So if you'd like to get in, I think right now I have 5 spots remaining. All right, and what will happen is on Sunday night, we will do the drawing. And it's very simple. You can enter the drawing if you're a promo code LAND annual Mother Flocker member. And if you're a brand new promo code LAND annual Mother Flocker member, then you will basically be fast-tracked. You won't have to be into the drawing. You just get fast-tracked right into a league. We want everyone to have a chance to experience a real league that matters, that they can invest their time and efforts into. That's the whole goal of landleagues.com, right? So if you've been considering becoming a member, now's a great time to do so. I'll DM me if you have any questions. I'd be happy to fast-track you into Orion. We had a couple people fast-track today. 5 spots remaining. First 5 people who get in, get in. But yeah, again, landleagues.com. Feel free to read the steps. Let me know if you guys have any questions when you're entering. Okay, we've got a real Dynasty rookie draft here with the Golf League. Shout out to the Golf League. I made the playoffs. I really, really love my team in the Golf League. I'm a huge fan of the team that I've got. I honestly feel like let's be clear. I was the champion in 2024, okay? I have now been dethroned, and I was dethroned by Styles, all right? So I was your champion last year in the Golf League. I was dethroned, unfortunately. This is the lineup that we are rocking with here in the Golf League. We've got Daniels, Bucky, Walker, Lamb, London, McBride, Pickens, Higgins, Goff on our bench. We've got Harvey, Rice, Addison, Benson, Likely, a couple other names there, Knoll, McMillan. We've got, in this draft, we have some picks to play around with. We've got the 109, 209, 211, and the 409. So plenty of movement that we can make. But shout out to everybody in the Golf League. I appreciate y'all being here with us. And yes, we will be implementing the land method today, okay? The only thing that will have changed here is we're actually doing 3 minutes through the first 2 rounds and then 1.5 minutes in the last 2 rounds there. Just because everybody gets a trade window, right? This is a live event. I know a lot of people are doing their rookie drafts as slow drafts, and there's nothing wrong with that. But if you and your home league or whatever league you're in want to kind of adopt this idea of setting aside time to be intentional, to really come together and make an event and have fun with it, right? Where you're all in the room or online together, whatever the case may be. This is a live draft. A stands for action, which is where your trade window comes into play. Every single owner in the draft has a trade window, all right? They can call it, but they have to be on the clock when they call their trade window. And then essentially everybody knows that they can go out and vie for their attention and try and trade for whatever pick they are putting on the block. That's where the negotiations start, where the entire league knows that if you want that pick, you got to go trade with this guy who's offering it up. So let's go ahead and let's jump straight into this draft. I did try and throw an offer at Riptide for the 101. It was declined, and I understand why. But I am still open to making a trade if Riptide changes his mind. You know, I'm definitely open to making a trade. If Billy changes his mind, I know I sent him a trade. You know, I did notice that Styles says that he's got some players. Sleeper's just not letting me open the app. How cool is that? Man, I wish Sleeper would focus a little bit more on their app. We love their app. As Jeremiah Love comes off the board there at the 101. Styles, let me send you something now. I haven't had a chance to actually look at your squad. So now that I'm looking at your squad, let me send you something here. Where is Styles? Styles, you look like a seller. Let me know if I'm wrong there, but you look like you're selling. I'll send you a little something, something. I got a little something, something coming your way. This feels okay. Am I overpaying or is this fair? Let's see. All right. Offer is in your inbox, Styles. Offer is in your inbox. There's a chance that if Styles accepts this, I will have no picks in tonight's draft. So we'll see how this goes. Gluten is in the chat. What's up, brother? Stop pimping the channel and let's roll. We are rolling, brother. We're rolling. Orion says, why is everyone typing my name? That's the code word for today's giveaway, Orion. All you have to do to enter the giveaway is like the stream and then type your first name, Orion. We're doing a giveaway, and that's why everyone is typing your name, my friend. That's hilarious. Parker says, as a Finns fan, kind of confused by this. Felt like we were in a hard rebuild. Love the guy, though, and happy to keep him. Yeah, I think, you know, it's obviously different, Dynasty football and real NFL. That's not breaking news to anybody, but I say that because at the same time, you need some foundation to build around, right? And I feel like Achane is a player that has come in. He's done it the right way, you know, so I like that they're at least kind of building around something that they know is good. You know, I can appreciate that the Dolphins are doing that. What's up, Tiny Goose? Welcome in. What's up, Dak? In the building. Dak is here at the 108. We did have a couple trades go down, by the way. First one is Derrick Henry was sent for the 112. So Kyle receives Derrick Henry, and the 112 goes to just Dak. As Billy, I know he's got his queue set up. We had a couple trades go down recently. A second in 2027 was sent for the 201 in this class. Oh my gosh, we got multiple picks coming off the board. Mendoza goes, then Tate, then Tyson. And Kyle, I'm going to send you something here. Oh wait, I just got an offer. Sorry, Styles. I feel pretty comfortable with what I offered. No pressure, but I'm not willing to pay that much, but okay, we did get our first trade window of the draft. Kyle, I'll go ahead and send you a little something here. Kyle now has 5 minutes to explore different trade options. Styles, I can't get there. If you can hear me, let me know. Pretty solid on the offer that I sent, and no stress either way. Kyle, I'll send you something here though. Okay. Just sent Kyle an offer. Right now, Kyle, this is the beauty of the trade window. Right? Kyle now has everybody's attention for the next 5 minutes. He is the prettiest girl in school at this very moment and present in time. Kyle says, Golf League is your favorite, right? I don't have favorites. You know, like my parents, they say, look, we love you all equally. I love you all equally. Everybody in the community, I love you equally, okay? Kyle says, I was homeschooled. Definitely the prettiest girl. My sister isn't a looker. That's crazy. Kyle, less time in the chat, more time responding to me, all right? This is you and me. We've got a chance, okay, to make something beautiful happen here, okay? All right. Less time and attention to the chat, more time and attention to me, please, okay? Styles, I'll send you something a little smaller than what I just sent you there. Where's Styles at? I'll send you something smaller. Okay. Sorry I'm not as active in the chat. I'm trying to get some negotiations going on here. Tiz says it's interesting that both AFC East rebuilders invest heavy on their stud running backs. That's fair, actually. I'm gonna pass. I'm gonna pass on that. Okay, Kyle. This is my aggressive offer now. Crap, that is a lot. What am I doing? Okay, here you go. First offer might have been too much, but here you go. What's up, Styles? Chase says, so if I have Brees Hall and Achane, I should feel amazing. Shouldn't feel bad, that's for sure. Shouldn't feel bad. Remember, guys, Code Cinnamon is in effect. All right, remember, Code Cinnamon is in effect here. I've got to put Kyle back on the clock. Sorry, I was entranced by the chat, and I didn't realize the trade window had completed. But Kyle's the first person to call that trade window, and I'm going to go ahead and keep track of those. Gluten says, I can't hear a single word you're saying, Zach, because I'm at a soccer game, but I'm positive you're talking about what an incredible team I have. Thanks, Boo. Yeah, Gluten built the majority of his team around the 2024 draft, which was fun. We made a blockbuster trade involving Jaden Daniels and Patrick Mahomes. Oh, no way, Kyle. Okay, so a trade went down. Okay, Wolfman, let me send you an offer, please. Okay, you guys saw the trade that went down, but it's time for business. All right, Kyle took A.J. Brown in a second there. I gotta be honest. Okay, Styles, for the love of God, let me send you an offer. Can everyone calm down? Styles, let me send you something, brother. Can everyone please calm down? Oh my God, Styles just sent away Lamar Jackson. Oh my God, everybody calm down! People, calm down, please. Okay. I'm sending you something. I'm going to send you a couple offers. Everybody calm down, please. Styles, I'm sending you a couple offers. Okay, Styles calls his trade window. Oh my God, this is chaos. I want to get all on the same page and show you guys everything that's happening right now, but like, I also need to get in there. Styles, I've sent you 2 offers, brother. Trade window has begun. Okay, so, oh my God, this is chaos. Okay, so Kyle went and traded the 105 for A.J. Brown in a second. Kyle, I don't know, dude. I think my offer was better. And if you don't mind, Kyle, I'll let the chat know because they always say, Zach has shitty offers, you know. I thought I had a better offer. At the same time, like, look, Kyle wants to compete. He's going to grab A.J. Brown. That's fine. And then this absolute blockbuster goes down where Dak gets Lamar Jackson and a couple picks this year. He sends away the 108, the 112, and a 27 first and a 27 second for Styles, who is going into a very clear rebuild. Styles says, I'm the prettiest girl in school. Okay. But Styles, you have my attention. My undivided attention. He says, how come no one wanted to talk to me all offseason? I need a 10-minute trade window. Kyle says, your offer was technically better, but I want to win this year. I still think you could have used what I was giving you to win, but I get it. Styles says, I will counter. I'm not sure you will like it. It's not a not exactly the best start, but let's see. Everybody wants 2027 picks until I offer them. It's like, everyone's like, no, you can't sell your 2027 picks. They're absolute gold. You'd be an idiot to sell your 27 picks. And then I send them in trades and nobody wants them. Wow, pure chaos here. I am in actual shock right now. Dak says, get a Red Bull. Basie says, everyone wants early 2027 picks. Yeah, I mean, my team's not that good. I'm not even good at this, okay? I mean, plenty of people in today's video emphasize that. They said that I'm just yapping. So, I don't know what I'm talking about, guys. Okay. This is interesting. Styles. Styles, I think we can get a deal done. I'm going to give you one counter. I feel like this is really fair. This feels very fair to me, Styles. You said I wouldn't like your counter. Meet me in the middle here. I know that's not a player you even want on your team that I'm asking for, by the way. I gotta put you back on the clock. I'm confident that the player I'm asking for is not even a player that you want. Jake says, tell this man why he should take my offer instead. No, Styles, I can't. I think I'm already, dude. I think I'm already. I feel like the pick I'm giving you, I can get the equivalent of what I'm looking for cheaper somewhere else, but I am gonna stick with that last offer. No pressure, but that last offer is where I'm staying. And I'm still willing to do the deal, but I'm not going to go beyond the last offer there. Yeah, I'm pretty strong fast on that offer. I'm actually not even sure I should be doing this. Steadfast is probably the better way to say that. Style says, still willing to move price even after the rookie draft. Not a lot of time to look at counters. All right. I'm going to give you 1 hour. I'm going to give you 1 hour, Styles, because that's the most I could do. Transparently, I feel like I can get an equivalent option for that asset I'm giving you. Maybe I should. Yeah, maybe I should look at doing that instead. What's up, James? Exploding trade offer. In this scenario, I'm just giving them an hour, saying, "Hey, this is the offer." You know. Okay. So Ty Simpson comes off the board, and I'm on the clock. I'd love to use my trade window here just to see what everybody is interested in. So send me an offer for these picks. If you're a rebuilder, I'll say two things. If you're a rebuilder, number one, willing to give you this pick for a veteran, specifically at the running back position. Don't send me DeAndre Swift, for the love of God. All right, don't be sending me some bullshit like Kyle Manon guy. But I'm willing to move this pick. In fact, if you're a rebuilder, I'm willing to attach this pick with a 27 first if the right running back is available or if the right offer is out there. So, yes, please hit my line if that interests you. No, I'm not going to take Mike Evans here. Just to be clear, let's just get this out of the way right now. I don't want Rico Dowdle. I don't want Mike Evans at this pick. Okay, I don't want Aaron Jones. Don't you dare send me Alvin Kamara. I don't want Rashad White. I don't Ramondre Stevenson, Kyle Monangai. All right, don't send me some BS. Pryor literally sends me DeAndre Swift for the 109. You dirty, devious dog. Let's ask this. Who is rebuilding? Who would like an offer, maybe, is a better way to say that. I'm not asking for first round picks. I'm asking to give first round picks. Stahl says I would like an offer. Dak sends me Kamara. All right, the trolling begins. Styles, there's not a running back on your team I'm interested enough to include a first. Yeah. But you know what I am interested in. Okay, let's see. Briar, how do you view your team right now? Out of curiosity, Briar. Lazy, I'll send you something. I'm about to accept Ramondre Stevenson for the 109. Let's see, who else? Ooh, I wonder what Tiz thinks about this. Okay. Minute and 16 seconds left on the clock. I mean, Riptide, I don't even know what to say to this one, bro. Look, I mean, I appreciate it, but I'm not looking to add second and thirds. Okay, I gotta put myself back on the clock. But we've got... I think I'm narrowed down to 2 people right now. Styles has said he's going to send me an offer. Let's see. I'm open, Styles. I've got 2 minutes here. No, Styles. No. I think what you're asking for me, I can get the equivalent this offseason without paying a premium. I just think I'm being asked to pay a premium because we're in the rookie draft, and I don't really want to operate that way. All right. Omar Cooper comes off the board to me. Let me send you one more offer here, Briar. Let me send you one more offer. Okay, Briar. Here's my final offer. No pressure either way. That's my final offer. We can walk away, or we can make history. Either way is fine with me. Styles is on the clock. He's already used his trade window, so he can't call a trade window anymore. But he is saying that the 110's up for grabs. A lot of people talking about the Casey Concepcion pick. Wolfman made that pick there at the 106. You know, he's got conviction in Concepcion, and I respect it. But in hindsight, I do think I would really... I really wish I would have traded for the 107 before the draft. The 107 before the draft would have been a lot cheaper if I knew what the plans were. But that's the chaos of a 2026 rookie draft, right? That's the way things go down. Briar says, give me 1 second. I'm in the bottom of the 9th on the show. I'm guessing he's playing the video game, the show, like the baseball game. But we'll wait and see what he's got to say there. Okay. Styles is on the clock here. 15 seconds left. Then we have Wolfman back up on the clock. Went Concepcion. You know, went with his guy there at the 106. He's got the 111 here. And it is no surprise that Kenyon Sadiq comes off the board. And then we get back-to-back quick picks there with Stowers coming off the board and Boston. And now Wolfman back up OTB. Wolfman, I'll send you something. I'll send you a little something, something. I'll send you a little something, something, Wolfie. Wolfie, Wolfie, Wolfie. All right, let me find out who won the consolidation, the comp pick as well. The comp pick winner was Breyer, by the way. So Breyer will make a pick at the 213. Neighbors had another knee surgery. Sell him while you can. Please sell him to me, gang. If you have Malik Neighbors, please sell him to me. Kevin. All right. Billy, I'm going to send you an offer here. Okay, so it looks like I did just get Jadarian Price, which means that would I be willing to do the other trade with Wolfman still? I don't know. Let me see. Okay, so I just added Jadarian Price and Chuba Hubbard. In this draft, I sent my 27 first, 409, 209, and a second for Price, Hubbard, and a third. So welcome home, Jadarian Price. We essentially move up to the 107. We've now got Price and Cooper from this draft. But I personally, I know there's a lot of people in the chat who are openly expressing their anti-Jadarian Price, that he can be replaced next year. Everybody's welcome to their opinions. I've got Jadarian Price right in this range with the Kyrans, Bucky's, Jadarian, Scataboos, Javante's, Breeze's. I might move Bucky down to the bottom of this tier at this very present moment, but went ahead and essentially the way I view the trade is I want to contend. Obviously this year, I'd like to be a strong contender. Wanted to bulk up the running back room a little bit. So Styles will get my first and my second. Then I send the 209 and the 409. I do believe that Price is kind of equivalent to a 27 first and a second, like a late 27 first and a second. I think that's probably like the equivalent. So I went ahead and just added a little bit more running back depth. We'll add Chuba Hubbard as well. Yeah, so that's the move that we just made. Billy, it looks like, is active because he got queued his first time around. But then he turned off the queue, so the auto pick. So he is active. I just think he's I think he's just taking his time there. Pleasure doing a deal, Styles, as always. But that is my first share of Jadarian Price, so happy to get that done. And it looks like Jeremy Bernard. Styles, let me send you something here. Let's see. Rafi says that's a lot to give up. No, it depends on how you view Jadarian Price, I guess. You know, obviously he's been a very controversial name in Dynasty rookie drafts, but, you know, would I send my 27 first for any running back in this C tier? Yeah, I would. Would you guys? Maybe your answer is no, but for me, the answer is yes. Yes, I would. And that's going to be a massive help on this strong contender I've got here. We now have added Chuba Hubbard and Jadarian Price to a running back room that already has Bucky Irving, Ken Walker, Harvey Dobbins. We've also got Rice and Addison on the bench, which we could use in different deals, but I am very happy to add to that running back room. That was the goal with these picks. Rick, I am very much pro Jonathan Brooks. I mean, I don't watch a bunch of other people's Dynasty content, but I imagine nobody's talking about Jonathan Brooks more than me this offseason, as consistently as I am. At the same time, they're both incredibly cheap. So I am very much trying to acquire both of them at cost. And I know Dynasty people love it when you like have to make a decision. Like, people are very much like, no, you have to choose a Dunze or a Burden. You can't like both. That's not how I approach the game. It's all about like what is the price point, right? And what's the potential upside for both of the players in the same offense? And I believe Brooks or Chuba could easily win the job this year. But I do believe there will be value in that backfield in Carolina, as there has been for most years with Dave Canales. So adding Chuba, adding Jadarian Price. My first share of Jadarian. Happy to finally get him on a squad. And what would the starting lineup look like? I guess this is what we would roll with. We might move Higgins for Rice initially. We get a lot of picks off the board here. It goes Coleman, Singleton, and Emmett Johnson. So Billy is very clearly using a Q here, because Emmett Johnson via ADP would not have been the next pick there, I don't think. Bobby says, someone just dropped Brooks after our rookie draft. I ended up getting him for $10 fab. I like that. Well done. Tiz says, you're betting it's the 112 and the 212. I know for certain it's not going to be a top 6 pick with the squad that I've got. So definitely making a bet that it's a late first. Dak takes Antonio Williams. I was hoping he would just keep falling. Good pick, Dak. Really good pick. Guys, appreciate y'all being here and hanging out with me. I am doing a giveaway today. If you'd like to enter the giveaway, it is fairly simple. The first step is to simply like the stream. Okay, that is the first step. Second step would be to type in our code word for today, which is Orion, O-R-I-O-N. All right, so if you'd like to enter today's draft or enter today's giveaway, like the stream, type Orion. We are going to give away a live team playbook on today's stream. Someone will get a beautiful team playbook customized to their specific NFL team or Dynasty football team, sorry. Evie says, can you click on Jared Goff's history tab? Let's see my GOAT. What did I trade for Jared Goff? This was back in 2023. I traded for Goff, Jamison Williams, and Rashee Rice and Evan Ingram, sending away Komet, Dotson, Howell, Rashawn, and a first in 2024. I don't know where that first ended up being. That was Dotson's rookie year, I think. That's when Howell was starting for the Commanders. I can't remember, honestly. That was so long ago. Okay, did the trade window just go down? Apologies. Who was the trade window for? Okay, trade window for Tiz. So you can now hit up Tiz if you'd like to make a trade with him. Basey says, Price is my most drafted running back. You and I, Zach, are going down together. Go Hawks. I'm glad I finally got a share of him. I haven't really been in a position yet where I could draft him naturally. And I guess that wasn't the case here with trading up for him. But my whole goal with my 27 first was to add to my running back room. And I'm still willing to do that with Breyer, by the way. Breyer, it would just need to look a little bit different now, obviously. Wow, Breyer, that's interesting. That is an interesting offer. I would rather Breyer go after the other guy because I think he's probably more affordable. I'm not really pro buying the player you're trying to sell me there because ultimately I just believe you're basically buying him at his peak. I'm talking to me when I say you. Like, I'm buying him at his peak right now, and I don't love that. But technically, yeah, let me see. Let me see if I can get a counter to you for the other one. You know what? I will counter this initial one. This is my counter to you. And I'll be honest, like, if you don't like that trade, that's all good. I just don't really want to invest into that player at its current price point. But the other guy, at his price point, I'm willing to invest in. Let me send you something. Okay. What do you think about that? Okay. So Tiz is currently trying to sell that 207. We'll see if an offer comes through. There's a minute and a little bit more left on the trade window. What's up, Sam? Yeah, I got time for team reviews today. In fact, we'll do that after the draft. I've got some trade questions here, some team reviews. So, absolutely, if you want to get into the queue or if you're already in there, don't worry. We'll definitely get it done today. Any team review that gets submitted today will be done today because I do have a more open queue and because it's the last time I'll stream this week. Well, I guess I streamed Sunday night, but that's like a new week for me because it's actually Monday in Australia. But Tiz says, in case you were wondering, no one wants the 207. I'm gonna be honest, Tiz, I'm not surprised. I have a lot of late seconds this year, so not that surprising, to be honest. Evie says, do you view Lamb as a buy, sell, or hold with his recent value drop? I've been trying to sell him in the months of January and February. Now I'm still open to moving off of him, but it would depend on what the offer is. I've got both of those Cowboys, Pickens and Lamb, on the squad here, so. All right, Tiz, I'm going to have to put you back on the clock here. As Max Clare coming off the board. I do love me some Max Clare. I don't mind that at all. He says, get your guy mode. That's right. Go get your guy. Why not? Hey, let's have a day. Let's have a day, ladies and gentlemen. As Katron Allen coming off the board. Excuse me. Stribling at the 209. I don't hate that pick at all. Okay, Riptide up here. Style says, first Coleman and Stribling shares and added 227 first tonight. Thanks for a fantastic draft. Styles, I wonder what made you go from being our league champion to wanting to punt to 2027? I'm just out of curiosity. What was the ultimate factor there? So this is Riptide's first pick since the Jeremiah Love selection at the 101. Parker, I would view Coleman higher. I think Coleman's a better prospect. Singleton is really... The reason we're interested in Singleton is because we don't love any of the running backs in Tennessee. Singleton's not a good prospect in his own right. I don't care if... Like, some people could disagree. That's fine. But... if you are a pro Nick Singleton guy, and in this draft he fell to the 5th round, I think maybe you should recognize, okay, the NFL never really loved this guy. 5th round, I mean, that doesn't mean he can't become a great player. He can still become a great player. I'm just saying, it doesn't really guarantee anything. I'm open to moving back here. I did get my guy yesterday in a draft in the Foxtrot League. I traded for my guy, if you don't know who my guy is. I can't say because of code cinnamon. Not opposed. Let me just ask Briar. Is Briar listening? Like, who would you want here if we were to do a deal? Not a bad offer, Gluten, honestly, but I'll probably just stick and make the pick here. Okay. I don't have any shares of this player yet. I think he's the perfect taxi squad fit for me. We're going to add Drew Allar here at the 211. Style says, my flex options were not looking good, and this is in relation to me asking him why he decided to punt this year. I only had 1, 12, and 2 on, which nobody wanted. Wanted to get ahead of it before my old vets lose any value. Also had the massive Puka deal with Kyle, if you would like to share. That one kicked off the 1-year punt. I'm trying to remember the Puka deal. Kyle got Puka. Oh my gosh, yeah, this was huge. Stafford, McCaffrey, Puka. I don't even remember what pick this was. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 first-round picks. Wow. What does Kyle's team look like? I haven't been paying attention. So he'll put Derek at RB2. All right, Kyle. Let's dance, baby. He's got Roma Dunze on the bench. Okay, Billy looks like it's going to be another Q pick here. Or actually, sorry, he's still got time. Billy, I don't know if you wanted this player that I just took. Can't trade the comp pick. You can trade it after you make the selection, but no, you can't trade the comp pick. But, Briar, get ready. Okay. So, we end up getting a trade done. And I'll take my guy. Welcome home, Elijah Surratt. I'll show you guys a trade in 1 second. But, just to let Briar know, Briar, this is your comp pick. Let me know who you want. I wish that Sleeper would let me tag you, but alas, they still have issues going all the way back from 4 years ago when I first used this app. Come on, sleeper man. Like, how is that still a problem? Okay, so we will pause here, and we will see what Briar's looking for. What's up, Lazy? Welcome in, brother. So the way the comp pick works, if you guys want to implement it in your league, essentially the way it works is when the playoffs begin in your Dynasty League, the top 6 teams go into the playoffs. The bottom 6 teams, instead of having nothing to play for, we do a consolation bracket where they fight for technically a 3rd round pick. It's the 213 is what we call it. Won't show up on the board as he's going to grab Jacoby Lane there. So Jacoby Lane is now gone, but it essentially gives the non-playoff team something to fight for, a reason to still care about the league, and I personally love it. I know some people say it's like rewarding losers. I just think, like, I mean, come on. If the 301 is going to transform your league, let's be real. It gives them something small to fight for. Like in this scenario, Jacoby Lane was the pick. It gives them something small to fight for, a reason to still care and check in and be active in the app. So that's the whole point, and that's the whole goal of the comp pick. But if you're a commissioner, you're not going to be able to add it manually, obviously. Or not. You're not going to be able to add it to the draft board. But what you can do is you can manually add it, pause the draft, manually add it, and then just tell people to refresh their browsers, and the player will no longer be available. So that's the way it works. Oops. Where am I at here? As Malachi Fields comes off the board. And let's go ahead and add the comp pick here. Bang, there you go. Evie said, I asked my league mates if they wanted to start doing the comp pick, and they said, no, you're dumb. I said, okay. Yeah. We're going to change the timer to 1.5 minutes now for the rest of the rest of this draft. Okay. So yeah, let me know if you have any questions about the comp pick. But I love the comp pick. Like I genuinely love that addition to our leagues. You can be upset about it. You can say it's rewarding losers. I really don't care because we're not getting rid of it. It's really fun. If you don't make the playoffs, there's still something to play for, something that matters, and it doesn't carry enough weight where the playoff teams are going to be upset about it anyway. Ryder says, what about instead of gaining a comp pick, instead you swap your 4th round pick for a pick at the start of the 3rd? I like the way things are right now. Like, you guys, you know, if you want to implement it in your leagues, feel free to make a variation however you want, right? If you think it's too much. If the 301 essentially is too valuable in your guys' leagues, you know, feel free to make some changes, but I really love the comp pick, honestly. Okay, so yeah, a trade did go down. And look, here's the deal. Billy is we always say that the league is upset that I made this trade. Branch is a great value there from Wolfman. The league is upset I made this trade. Let me just preface this. They're upset. They think I clearly won. But this is all about knowing your league mates. Billy's a big Steelers fan. A big Steelers fan. When I saw Bernard go off the board at the 202, I said, okay, he clearly is wanting to get his Steelers. That's why I intentionally took Drew Aller at the 211. Wasn't really phased either way between Aller or Surratt. So sent him a little offer. Hey, do you want to swap second and thirds in 2028? And that's what we did. We moved back one. I moved back one spot. We did a second and third round pick swap. So the league is not happy about it, but that's okay. Okay, Briar's going to call his trade window here, I think. So if anybody is interested in these third round picks, hit up Briar. You might have some tough time getting some interest, but we'll see. Is there anybody that I would want to trade up for here? Briar, do I send you something? Let's see. I don't think I could send you anything that you're actually going to be interested in, so I'll hold off. Guys, I'm going to have to make some difficult decisions with this roster. As far as like who to drop. Okay, because we're going to add 3 players here. We're going to add 3 players. And I don't want to drop anybody. I'm going to have to drop Jalen Wright, probably. Oof. I don't want to drop anybody else. I need to wait. I need to wait until after the draft to figure that out. Yeah, Reese says, hey, drop Benson. I was very vulnerable and honest with you guys in today's video when I said, look, Benson is probably a name we should all drop. And then I sit there and I told you guys, but I don't know if I can. I don't know if I can do it. It would just hurt my heart too much. Is it the right move? Probably. It probably is the right move just to let him go and not think about him again. But painful. It'd be painful, man. Gosh. What a tragedy. What could have been. It looks like we did get a trade done here, maybe. A trade just went down. Yeah, the 304 was traded, so I'll put Riptide back on the clock here. The 304 was moved for the 410 and the 307 in this year's draft. You're not wrong at all, Tiz. That's what's hard is like, objectively, when Benson has played, he's looked good and he's been efficient. So, no, it's not crazy to say. It's just a terrible situation. That's the unfortunate reality. Skylar Bell, big fan of Skylar Bell. He comes off the board there. I guess I have no more picks. Yeah, I mean, I have no more picks for the day. So we walk away with Price, Cooper, and Surratt. Not too upset about that. What's up, Shad Yocho? As Demond Claiborne off the board. Jeffy says, or is it Heffy? Is it Heffy or Jeffy? I dropped Brooks in the middle last year. Ended up picking him back at the end of the year. Yeah, good on you, mate. Good on you getting him back. Tiz says, I want a new feature, the carbon freezing chamber, like a taxi squad, but you can't elevate your guys for 2 years. That would be funny. Imagine it if you put Puka Nakua on that. That's really the only scenario where you would be upset. Oh, wait. Why do I have the trade window still going? Sorry. Excuse me. We are getting into the late third, early fourth of the draft. If you guys want to enter today's giveaway, it's getting to closing time. So if you have yet to like the stream, go ahead and be a friend. Hit the like button on the stream. And then if you want to enter the giveaway, step 2 of that process would be to type Orion into the chat. And as of right now, we currently have 39 entries into tonight's giveaway. But you guys are more than welcome to join the giveaway. What's up, Shad Yocho? Welcome in, bro. Welcome in. Good to have you. Style says, a lot of fun. Gotta love the land method. I'm a big fan of it. Tiny Goose says, my commish added a 5th round to place the comp pick to C, then ends the draft after the 4th round still. Okay, right. So he would like manually set the player. That makes sense. That makes sense. As we get Kalen Black off the board, Brennan Thompson off the board. Jamar is a Chargers fan, so he goes out and gets his guy, I assume. Kyle up on the board here. This is Kyle's first pick of the draft. That's because he traded the 105. He traded Mekhi Lemon away. Well, the 105, which then turned into be Mekhi Lemon, rather. Yeah, just want to just say publicly, if anybody in this draft is on auto and you land Le'Veon Moss, unlucky. The guy retired, which is crazy, but it's true. He retired. I guess he got enough NIL money and wants to go on with the rest of his life, which, fair enough. Can't blame the guy. But we will be doing some team reviews here soon. Some trade questions here soon on the stream. As the Garrett Nussmeier pick is made. Riptide now up on the board. Did Squirrel White retire as well? I didn't even know he declared. I didn't know Squirrel White declared. Sorry. Great pick, Riptide. Love the pick. Well done. Give me 1 second, gang. Sorry, I'm going to blow my nose. Love the Caleb Douglas pick, man. I think you're making a similar bet to what was made at the 201. I know everybody disagrees, and I'm not even saying I'm not team Caleb over Chris Bell by any means. I am team Chris Bell, but I just think it's a similar bet to make. Tiz is up on the board here. He went Claire at the 207, then Fields, Randall, and Raridon, which you love to see. Nice little haul for him there. I think Wolfman maybe got the steal of the draft. I mean, let's give you guys an opportunity to tell us who you think is the steal of the draft, okay? All the picks have been made. Who is the steal of the draft in your guys' opinion? I want to hear. I want to hear from you. Eli Heidenreich off the board. What's up, Sparrow? Says, was at the movies today and watched Top Gun re-release and obsessed. You'll love to see it. Riptide says he took Caleb Douglas because the land tool was yelling at him to make the pick. That's funny. Okay, still the draft. Style says Price before I traded him. Mike says Williams or Price. Branch at the 303. Ted Hurst was a good pick as well. I definitely agree with that. I think he was a pretty good pick for sure. Breyer up on the clock. He has gotten Makai Lemon, Claiborne, sorry. And now he's got 2 4th-rounders here. Cool Man says, Ted Hurst, he's the X for the Bucks. That means he's the wide receiver 1. Joking, but I've seen some people actually saying this. Yeah. Obviously, you can make the case that Ted Hurst is an exciting pick because he profiles more like an X than anybody else. But, you know, we all know there's a difference between being deployed at X and being the #1 wide receiver. There's a difference between there. I mean, there's a very good chance that Hurst is doing cardio for multiple years, a la Alec Pierce, right? So yeah. Klubnik, I think he was a great pick. I mean, if you were looking at the cheat sheet tool, Klubnik was the top available name. Taylor Green's a good pick. Did Robert Henry get drafted? He's a UDFA. Okay, Robert Henry was a UDFA. Jamari Taylor, Justin Jolie. Love the Justin Jolie pick. Was hoping he might sneak to free agency. Yeah, that's a great term. Matt Harmon calls it a sacrificial X. That's a great way to describe what he may be in year number 1. Yeah. But there could still be value there for sure. So, has the NFL schedule all been released? Or are they releasing it in waves? Do we know? As Michael Trigg was picked, last pick here from Wolfman. Are they releasing it in waves? The full release is tomorrow. Okay, right. I wonder why they do it in waves. Like, obviously I care, but I don't care enough to, like, dive into each matchup each week. Just tell me when the whole thing's available and I'll look at it. Last pick here from Wolfman. Oh, so they've got Hawks and Patriots week 1. That'll be fun. Yeah, Mike, me and Sammy talked about this yesterday. It is weird that they would put the Chiefs on Monday Night Football week 1 if they had the opinion that Mahomes wasn't going to be ready yet. That wouldn't really make much sense, so I could see that meaning something. I could see it meaning nothing, you know. And the last pick of the draft, ladies and gentlemen. Looping says, Mendoza at the 102 in a 32-team league ain't crazy, right? No, that's not crazy. I assume in a 32-team league, it would be almost impossible to find a running back. Or a quarterback, excuse me. Shout out to everybody in the golf league. That was a fun one. Lots of trades went down. I'm glad I got to be a part of the action. Breyer, still interested in those two guys that we talked about. So hit me up if you are interested in moving them. And I do think I'm going to have to make some moves here. Man. If anybody is willing to send me a third for Njoku, Tonjes, Benson, Braylon, Justin Fields, then hit me up. I'd probably take a fourth for some of those guys too. Otherwise, I may need to make some trades. I'm not going to make these final decisions right now. But that's fun. Appreciate you guys coming in here and hanging out with us. Let's go ahead and let's jump into today's giveaway. Actually, I'll give you one last chance to enter the giveaway. How about that? Catch me outside. How about that? Let's go ahead and put me at the top right of the screen. But we've got 51 entrants right now. If you want to enter the giveaway, very simple. All you have to do is simply like the stream, then type the code word for today, which is Amarion. Not Amarion. Orion. You can see why I got there. Anyway, and the reason we're using Orion as the code word is because we did just drop a brand new league that we'll be drafting on Monday night for Land Mother Flocker members. Look, if you're out there, you want to be a part of a league that matters that you can invest your time and effort into, definitely go check out landleagues.com. You can enter the Orion League, but you will not be allowed to enter unless you're a Land Annual Mother Flocker member. And I can tell you right now, we have at least 5 spots remaining. So the first 5 people to become promo code Land Annual Mother Flocker members and to enter the drawing, DM me. I can guarantee you guys some spots. But while we are waiting for you guys to enter the giveaway one last time, I thought it fitting to jump into trade questions first. So, Anthony Ellis, and if you guys want to submit a trade question, you can do it through the Flock site. I'll put one link in the chat where you can either get your team reviewed or submit a trade question. Either way, I'll make that the pinned comment. So if you want to submit a trade question, you want to get your team reviewed, whatever the case may be, that is the best way for you to do it. This is a 12-team Superflex start 9. We're sending away Xavier Worthy in the 202 to get back. Rashee Rice in the 202 to get back Xavier Worthy in the 103. The question here really, I could care less about Worthy or the 202. Truly, I really don't care. So the question is, would you rather have Rashee Rice or the 103? If I'm a contender, I'm probably going Rashee Rice. If I'm a rebuilder, I could see the merit in going Jordan Tyson. So it's pretty much market value. It's about as close as a trade could possibly get. I don't really have a strong opinion on this one. Right now in a Superflex start 9, you're starting Josh Allen, Caleb Williams, Hampton. Don't know who RB2 is. You've not got the best receiver room. You've got McBride. Again, I'm very, very indifferent on this one. I probably prefer to keep Rashee Rice overall, especially if Rashee Rice were to sign, a 3-year contract in Kansas City or something like that. I think it'd be worth more than Jordan Tyson. That's essentially what the question that you're asking there. But could you add something else to this deal? He doesn't have any draft picks. At least I can't see them. Can you get Matthew Golden back? You know, can you get something really small if you want to do a deal like this? Can you get a future second round pick? Again, overall, I think Rice is the most valuable player there, but it's a relatively even trade. Anthony or Anthon, if I might not be saying it right. Inberg here, 1 quarterback, 10 team start 8. They will be sending away Henderson, Judkins, and Rice to get back Caleb, Brees, and Amon-Ra. Okay. So, you're upgrading from Rice to Amon-Ra. Brees and Henderson, I would say, are a wash. Yeah. So, really, in a 1 quarterback league, though, how much does Caleb Williams matter? He certainly matters. But in a 10-team league, small league, start 8, you've already got Jaden Daniels. I'm not really sure I understand why you would make this deal in a 1 quarterback league. Yeah, I don't want Caleb or really any quarterback outside of Josh Allen to be a big reason why I make a trade in a 1 quarterback league. I mean, Jaden Daniels you could throw in there. You've already got Jaden Daniels. I just don't see the reason why you would do this. So yeah, I'd probably pass. I'd probably pass on this. The way to maybe even it out a little bit is by removing Caleb Williams. And then maybe instead of Caleb Williams that you get back, we try and do George Pickens by sending, you know, like a Marvin or something. You know, that would be closer for me. But right now, I don't really understand why you would do this trade, given that the quarterback is a big reason why this is happening. So I'd probably pass on that. What's up, Matthew and Bree in the building? Would you send away Bucky Irving for Parker Washington, a late 27 first, and a mid 28 second? This is probably value right around the value for a Bucky Irving. So if you're not contending, you could send him away for this price pretty easily. If you are contending, then you may want to hold him. You've already got Achan, Scattaboo, Price. That's a pretty good running back room. Your receiver room is not that great, so I don't mind adding. You don't have a tight end that I love. Yeah, I don't mind the idea of adding capital here, given the weaknesses that your team already has. Okay, 2 team reviews here, but we will first get to the giveaway. All right, so this is to win a live team playbook. And we've got 61 of you guys entered. Here we go. Spinning the wheel. 3, 2, 1. This is to win a live team playbook. And our winner for the day is Robert Hoffman, 5579. Shout out to Robert Hoffman, 5579. Robert, to claim your voucher, very simple, my friend. There's my username on Discord. DM me. I need a screenshot of your YouTube account to verify. And then I need you to tell me your Flock Fantasy username as well. If you don't have a username yet, then use the promo code LAND and sign up and create a free account. But I appreciate you big time, my friend. And I'm glad we were able to hook you up. Okay, we are going to get into the part of the night where we review people's Dynasty teams. Again, you're more than welcome to get into today's queue. Any review that is submitted today will be done today, as it is it's the last time I'll stream until Sunday. So if you want to get your team reviewed today, it's same day is definitely an option for you guys right now. Ras, what is up, my friend? Jumping into this review. Same username as your team name. I respect it. Superflex 16 team start 9. So while it is a small lineup, oh my gosh. It's a small lineup, but it's a 16-team league. That's crazy. Think about it. If it's a super flex league and there's 16 teams, there's only 32 teams in the NFL. There are going to be a lot of teams in this league that only have one quarterback they can start. That's tough. But he says, I think I'm in a great spot in this league. I'm looking to secure the 101 for next year and compete after that. Any players I should be targeting or moves I should be making in order to rebuild more efficiently? Let's have a look, my friend. So, we've got 4 firsts in 2027, 3 in 2028. We are looking to load up from the looks of it. Looking to load up there, aren't we? Let's see. Okay. So, the untouchables on this team. Malik Neighbors, you got to build around something. I would not be selling Malik Neighbors because of his routine, you know, fixing of his knee, cleaning up his knee. Please don't sell Malik Neighbors because of that. Brock Bowers also would be an untouchable for you. Is there a premium here? There is a premium, and it's a 16-team league. Bowers would be such a difference maker. Wow. Players that you should be holding. In this format, Jalen Milroe is definitely worth holding. I just feel like, you know, it's really difficult to find a quarterback in this format. So if he ever had a shot, you'd be annoyed at yourself for letting him go. We can also add, you know, Trey Harris to that list as he heads into year number 2. Ricky Pearsall, we would love to see if he could stay healthy. And then I would say Terrence Ferguson is a strong hold for me. You can drop a lot of players on this team. You know, Sion Vaki, you could drop Darius Slayton, Joshua Palmer, Jahan Dotson. There's plenty of droppable names. On the waiver wire, I would rather roster Joe Mixon than Sion Vake or Damian Pierce, for example, Kendre Miller, just because if he does sign somewhere, you might be able to net like a second-round pick or something in return. And in your format, I do think that Cole Payton is worth rostering. I don't think he ever touches the field, but again, quarterbacks are so hard to find in this specific format. But yeah, this is very clearly a one-year punt. You're definitely not contending right now. A lot of your assets are focused towards next year with all those first-round picks. Right now, you've got Mendoza. Let's say one of those 27 firsts are going to start for you. Price, another first. Neighbors, Tate, Bowers, McConkey, Pearsall. You're building up a team. Certainly isn't perfect yet, but I like the direction that you're headed. I'm going to give you a B flat. Maybe I should say B plus because of all the picks that you've got, but we'll stick with a B flat for now. Those picks still have to pan out. I will give your draft capital grade an A plus because you've done a great job at kind of building up your treasure chest of picks, if you will. You know what? I do think you deserve a B plus. This is a 16-team league. What are we talking about? A 16-team league. Yeah. You've done a really, really good job. Okay. The problem is, and it's not a problem, it's just me being honest with you. There is not really any obvious sell here. You know, like, who in the world are you selling confidently on this team that's worth anything? I mean, you'd love to sell Jerry Jeudy for what? You can't really get anything for Jerry Jeudy. You're not going to sell Mendoza. You're not going to sell Price, Neighbors, Tate, McConkey, Pearsall. I just don't see a reason to sell anybody here. Look, if you want to tear down off of Neighbors, you can, but you've got to build around something. My God's honest advice to you would be to not move anybody here. Why would we? You know what I mean? Why would we move somebody? And there's nobody that's old that you could get value from. You're not selling Tate, Price, Mendoza. You just drafted these guys. You're not selling Bowers, obviously. Yeah, you've already got so much draft capital as well. Oh, dude, I don't think you really need to sell anybody. I am rarely stumped, but this team is definitely stumping me a little bit. You know, one thing I will say is what you could do is tack Xavier Worthy onto a 27 first. And if you didn't want to be so invested into one class, you could add a young piece that we like. Okay, so let's see. Class of 2025. I'm trying to see like the worst pick that you have. Class of 2025. That's a very young team. That could be a valuable pick. You've got GD. Who's GD? GD is team 10. Oh my gosh. Yeah, they're probably going to give you the 101. You've got Stafford. Stafford is team 13. Their team isn't bad. It's quite young, but it's not terrible. Well, it's young at some positions and really old at others. Wow, so yeah, see, I don't really want to sell your first. I thought there may be like a late first there, a projected late first that we can move. But yeah. Very rarely am I stumped here. But look, what I was going to say is you can move Worthy in a first and look at adding like a Luther Burden. You know, if you didn't want to be so attached to this class, you know, is there a young... You've already got Carnell Tate. You know, Jordan Tyson, Luther Burden. You know, what is the name that you could invest in this class? But again, I don't really think you need to make a single move. I'll give you a couple Malik Neighbors options. If you can sell Jerry Jeudy for any third, you know, you sell him. Honestly, I wouldn't be opposed to getting like multiple fourths or even just like a fourth. But if you were to sell Malik Neighbors, which I do not suggest that you do, then the only name that makes sense to go to in a tier down would be McMillan, as in T-Mac. So you could go Tet McMillan plus a 27 first. Could you add on to that? You know, you could do like, could you ask for a Makai Lemon and Ricky Pearsall swap? Right, like that's Ricky Pearsall. That's how that could potentially make sense. But if not McMillan, then it would have to be Emeka Egbuka. And you would probably need a little bit more. And that guy doesn't have his own firsts, and so I really don't see how that's possible. It's not really a viable option. You're not going to buy veterans like Saquon or CMC on your team. So, yeah, look, what I would say is keep the ship going in the right direction, right? Trust the process. Don't force any sort of trades right now. You know, you may be asking, like, who should I sell? There's nobody here to sell. So I don't want to give you fake advice because I feel like I need to meet some quota of how many trade ideas I give you. But what I would suggest is if you have yet to watch my 2027 first look rankings, this is clickbait. Let's see. I believe I released that. Yeah, right here. First look at the 2027 rookie rankings. You can watch that. You can get really excited about this class. I mean, I would love for this team to add, you know, is it Arch Manning, Dante Moore? There's plenty of running backs in next year's class that I love. Obviously, a lot of receivers that we love. So I'd be shocked if this time next year you aren't a strong contender, but mainly building around youth, right? But I appreciate you, man. Let me know if you happen to be in the chat. Would be happy to answer any questions that you may have. But yeah, I appreciate you big time. Okay, CWT22, who just signed up to the Orion League. Shout out to you. Thanks for becoming a promo code Land Annual Mother Flocker member. You'll get guaranteed access into that league next week. But let's have a look at the team here. So this is a Superflex 12-team start 9. Smaller lineup for a Superflex league. Only 2 flexes that you really have to account for there. What's up, Jerry? Welcome in, man. And we are currently ranked in this league 5th. The Flock site has you 5th at quarterback, 6th at running back, 10th at receiver, and 2nd at tight end. And there is no tight end premium. We do have some picks in 2026 that we may or may not need some help with. Either way, I'm going to bring that into the war room and help come up with a game plan for you, my friend. Okay, our untouchables on this team. Jaden Daniels would be the first untouchable. Wouldn't say there is another one there. Players that I want to hold. Jonathan Brooks. You know, we've talked about him a lot this offseason. I think he's a very, very strong hold. Has a great chance to win that job. Both him and Chuba. Matthew Golden, another strong hold. Jack Besh. You know, guys who didn't have the great year number ones, but could have opportunities in year number 2. I also do think Gunnar Helm is a little bit sneaky as well. Players that you could drop. Don't really want to drop anyone, but if you had to, you know, you could drop LaKent Allen. You could drop Brashard Smith if you wanted to clear up some space. Is there anyone on the waiver wire interesting? Oh, yeah, for sure. Okay, Malik Willis on the waiver wire has got to be a top priority. Chika Conquo would be my next priority there. Those are 2 guys that absolutely have to be rostered, in my opinion. Right now, we are starting Daniels, Darnold, Cook, Henderson, Marvin, Bryan, Warren. Is there a premium? No premium, right? Yeah, no premium. So that's unfortunate. You have so many tight ends that are good. But that gives you 7. Then you would flex Jacobs and I guess Godwin for now, or Fannin or Laporta. Ideally, we would like to find a team that is tight and needy to sell both Warren. We need to keep one of Warren or Fannin, but we could sell the other 2 in Laporta. Right now, look, I would call you at this very present moment a sleeper team. There's a couple moves that you can make. You're certainly not top of the league because of, you know, no quarterback 3, not the strongest wide receiver room. And I would probably give you, yeah, B- feels fair. B- feels pretty fair. Okay, let's jump into that war room because we're going to be adding some serious firepower with that 104. And I would say with your specific build, Tyson would be my preference there. And I am very much team Jadarian Price. We showed that obviously in today's stream, but I probably would lean Mekhi Lemon here. I have Lemon and Price in the same tier, but you're so running back heavy compared to your wide receiver room that I think you should probably add one of Tyson or Lemon. At the 107, this is probably where you go Casey Concepcion or Jadarian Price. Either one that's available is an easy smash at that point. At the 204, I do like Antonio Williams as a target. You know, Chris Bell as a target would be a great option for you. And then beyond that, just get the best player available, BPA. If you wanted to trade the 104, You know, names like Rashee Rice come to mind. George Pickens come to mind. Trying to add to that room. Chris Olave, Garrett Wilson, right? These are names that you could go out and trade for right now. They can make a big impact on your team right here, right now. At receiver for the 107, I think I'd rather stick and pick in this class. But veteran receiver is an option there. And then, you know, we're not trading these third and fourth unless you can get future picks. So I guess you could say trade for future equivalent picks, right? You could do that. So if someone's willing to send you a 27 third for your 304, then, you know, you'd be willing to take a deal like that. But personally, I think if you want to go all in, I don't really mind going like a George Pickens or Rashee Rice and then hoping Jadarian Price falls to you. Like, that could give you enough to really go out and compete this year. Either way, a combination of the two, or whether you stick and pick with both of them, I'd be pretty happy with the return that you're likely going to get there. Your War Room is now available in the Land tab on the Discord under the War Room text channel. You'll be able to download that for yourself, my friend. But let's jump in and let's try and find a trade partner for Tyler Warren or Harold Fannin or Sam Laporta. Ideally, I'd like to trade two of those names to tight and needy teams. So, for example, the guy who has Jake Ferguson. Man, I would absolutely love if we could find our way into Egbuka. So, for example, can you send Tyler Warren away for Emeka Egbuka? You know, is that a doable trade? Would you need to send Warren and, let's say, like the 204, your third? I'd be willing to try different trades like that. He also has Jalen Waddle. I'd be willing to send away Sam Laporta for Jalen Waddle. I think that would be a great fit for you as well. So that works big time. Let's keep looking. The Carl Pitts owner is probably fine. The Sanders owner has Tetairoa McMillan. It's going to cost more than Tyler Warren to get T-Mac. I think we all know that. What'd you guys send? What about like Tyler Warren plus the 107 for Tet McMillan? I don't mind that. That gives you an alpha, perceived alpha. I don't mind that. You know, maybe you could add back something small, like would he give you Mike Evans in that deal? Could you add the 204 and ask for Bashul Tutin? Those are some potential ideas there. Let's keep looking though. The Juwan Johnson owner, unfortunately, all they have is Puka, and it's going to take too much for you to get Puka on the team. For George Kittle, yeah, this would be a Tyler Warren, Luther Burden type of move. I would do it for either Warren or Fannin if possible. Garrett Wilson, yeah, Garrett Wilson's Tyler Warren range, I would say. Garrett Wilson, that would be a good addition for you. And Zay Flowers, yeah, I don't hate. It's not, you're probably not going to get as cheap as Laporta, but if you could do Zay Flowers for Harold, and send Harold Fannin, obviously I'd prefer to send Laporta, but either way, I think that would make a lot of sense. Like, imagine you were just able to get one of these trades done, and then you were still able to use your picks. Like, imagine you add Egbuka to your team. I mean, that's just even just one of these deals plus those draft picks that you have could make a huge impact. And I don't see why after you make some of these moves, why you couldn't be a strong contender in 2026. So I hope that's helpful. I think that's a pretty complete game plan there. Obviously, feel free to message me if you had any questions. You will get your playbook within the next 3 to 4 business days. Just stay tuned to the advice tab on the Flock Fantasy site. Okay, we did have a couple reviews come through, or a couple trade questions, and one review from C. Ramirez come through. So we'll have a look at those. Like I said, guys, you can submit trade questions, you can submit team reviews. Big Sty, what's up, Big Sty? He would send away Brian Thomas, Travis Hunter, a second, third, and a fourth for Drake London. Wow. Really interesting offer here. I think London's by far the most valuable player. Travis Hunter, there is still a lot of questions about what his career will look like. The second, third, and fourth don't really bother me too much to give up. The only way you regret this, I think, is if Brian Thomas kind of reclaims that form he had in his rookie season. But, yeah, I think this is a relatively even deal. If you're ready to contend and London is like the missing piece, let's grab Drake London here. If you're not a contender yet and you're still, maybe a year or so away, then maybe you keep the Thomas and Hunter package there. But I'd say that's a pretty affordable Drake London, all things considered, if you're a contender. What's up, Angels? Angels is in a Superflex start 9. They're sending away Thomas in the 102 for the 101. Wow, guys, what do we think about this? Maybe I'll put a poll in the chat. Would you rather have Brian Thomas and let's call it Carnell Tate or Jeremiah Love? That's interesting. I think I lean 101, but I want to hear what you guys have to say. I think I lean the 101 there. But, I mean, this could obviously backfire in the scenario that Carnell Tate's a superstar. Right? That's where everything can kind of fall apart for you. Right now, 71% of the chat is saying the 101. It's a 10-team start 9. That really makes me say the 101, actually, yeah. If you made this move, you're starting Lawrence, Nix, Taylor, Jeremiah Love, Olave Egbuka, Warren, and then you've only got 2 flex spots left, and you can only choose from Kraft, Adunze, Marvin, Ken Walker, Bashul Tutin. Yeah, I'm going to take the 101 side of this deal. And the chat agrees for the most part. Port 45, Dynasty Superflex 12 teams start 10. Sending away Scadaboo, Price, Collins, 2 firsts and a second to get back Gibbs, Kyron, and Burden. So let's break this down kind of piece by piece. I personally, in my rankings, Collins and Burden are too close to really matter either way. I would call that a wash. I would also say the same thing for Kyron and Jadarian Price. I would call that a wash. So would I pay Cam Scadaboo and 2 firsts? The second doesn't really matter to me, but 2 firsts for Jahmyr Gibbs. Yeah, I'd probably pay that for Jahmyr Gibbs. So this is a pretty fair deal. You would, if you made this deal, you'd be starting Dart, Shuck. I guess we would go Gibbs, Kyron. Right? Olave, Burden, Ferguson at tight end. I don't love this lineup though, man. And then I'm not sure if you would even have your own 27 first. Oh, this is his team? That's his team. Mine's one with Allen. That's your team. So why is it... Okay. Give me a second here. Let me quickly let the devs know about this because I don't want this to happen to anybody else. Give me 1 second, y'all. Sorry. Okay. All right, so if you made this trade, you are getting Gibbs, Kyren, and Burden, right? I'm reading that correctly. Because if you are getting those three, you're starting Allen, Nix, Gibbs, Kyren, then T-Mac, Waddle. Oh, tight end spot's pretty weak. I guess we'll say Goddard. And you would need to start three more names. Those three names would be Burden, Swift, Johnston. Look, it's not the strongest team to be all in like this, to be honest. You sending 2 firsts and still not having... I mean, look, running back room is decent when you have those 4 of Gibbs, Kyren, Swift, Rashad. But at receiver, T-Mac, Burden, Waddle, there's still some question marks there. I don't love any tight end that you've got. It's honestly like it's not a bad offer. It's a fair trade. I like it for you, but you're also kind of putting yourself into this win window, and your flexes are going to be pretty bad. And that's assuming that injuries don't occur. Your flexes will be quite mid. If injuries occur, your flexes will actually be bad. What capital would you have if you made this trade? If you made this trade, what other capital would you have? That would be one of the big questions I would ask you. Would this be giving away all your picks, basically? Would you be going all in? That's really the answer that I would need. Yeah, very, very curious. He says pretty much you'd be going all in. I got to put a poll into the chat. Let's say pick package, pick plus player package. Gibbs side. Which side do you guys want? Again, the context here is really important, being that this guy's basically going to be going all in, and he's going to be heavily relying on Luther Burden to win right now. He's going to be heavily relying on Waddle, probably Johnston in his flex. His tight ends are going to be streaming between Goddard, Jawan Johnson. While I think it's fair value to acquire Gibbs for this, I don't think you're in a position where you really should be going all in right now. You know, we have to assume at least 3 players go down with an injury, because that's typically, at minimum, what happens every year. To me, at least, in my teams. I appreciate that, Zom. Try and do my best for y'all. Yeah. The chat is leaning you kind of staying. I kind of agree with them. I'm probably leaning towards staying with the side that you've got. You know, maybe if you had an extra Mike Evans and there was George Kittle there as well and David Montgomery, like those 3 players, for example, maybe it would have been easier. But I imagine you might be a little short-staffed if you make that deal. All right, what's up, Ramirez? I'm probably going to get to your team review here. I've got some time today. So let's go ahead and get to your team review. This is maybe the last review of the night. Of course, there is still a queue that you guys can join. If you'd like to get your team review tonight, more than welcome to join the queue. No pressure. Scott's Tots is the name. You're ranked 2nd. This is a 12-team Superflex start 9. So a smaller lineup here. You are ranked 3rd at quarterback, 2nd at running back, 4th at receiver, and 9th at tight end. He says, fell short last year after starting strong, so just looking to see what I can do. Note, with our upcoming rookie draft, my commission decided to add waiver wire players as eligible picks, so I can't add anyone until after the draft. Okay. That makes sense. You've got the 308 and the 405, so Rookie picks aren't going to make a big impact for you anyway. Instantly, when I look at your waiver wire, Chigakonkwo is very attractive to me there. Jalen McMillan is attractive to me. Mac Jones should be rostered. Same with, the likes of Isaiah Pacheco. Stop fixing Isaiah, Google Docs. My gosh. Isaiah Pacheco. Ayuk, Knoll. There's plenty of interesting names there that are worth a look. Tez Johnson, Ayuk, Ferguson. You've got plenty of interesting names on the waiver wire there. I'd probably draft Chig if he was there at the 308. Players that you could drop. Don't really want to drop anybody here, honestly, to be honest with you. Players that you could hold. I believe both Chuba Hubbard and Jonathan Brooks are strong holds right now. So I would add both of those names. Jaden Reed is a hold coming off of his contract extension, which basically no one's talking about. Corey Krosky-Merritt has a chance to be the lead dog there in Washington. And Cam Scatterboo would be holds for me. Untouchables on this team. None. You don't really have any untouchables, but you've got a pretty good lineup here. We're rocking with Hurts, Purdy, Achane, Scatterboo, who just got a contract extension. Pickens, Wilson, Gadsden. Oof. Don't love Gadsden Strange at tight end there. And then we're flexing Collins and Chase Brown. That's a pretty good team. On your bench, you've got Michael Wilson, Reed, Hubbard, Darnold. Pretty good team. I would call you probably... You're somewhere between sleeper and contender, so let's call you a contender for now. I'd give you maybe a B- type of grade. Not a bad team at all, but certainly not some superstar team. Okay, let's think about this for a second. Who would we want to trade? I am open to trading Nico Collins for the right return. Michael Wilson I'm open to trading. You can't sell Hurts or Purdy right now. They're undervalued. Wouldn't mind using your second to improve tight end. So we have some ideas here. Let's start off with that tight end idea. Who's a quarterback needy team that has a good tight end? Let's find one. The Shador Sanders team, you're not going to get Trey McBride. Not going to get Colson Loveland. Ooh, could you get Kraft? I wonder what it would cost to get Kraft and Daniel Jones. I wonder what it would cost to get Kraft and Daniel Jones. Would it be Darnold a second in Gadsden? Would that put you there? At least having a conversation. I also don't mind buying... well, I'm not going to buy Isaiah Likely if I can pick up Chigakonkwo for free. Aaron Rodgers is interesting. Could you do a similar deal here, but instead you get back Aaron Rodgers plus Harold Fannin? Rodgers is basically worth nothing. But he would give you 1 year, and then hopefully you could prioritize Malik Willis off the waiver wire, or Mac Jones off the waiver wire, sorry. Geno Smith could replace, for you there at quarterback as well. Okay. Is there another team here that could make sense? Stroud? This guy's team is so bad. Wow, what happened? Not a good tight end there. Laporta. Maybe you could do a Darnold for Laporta. That's not too crazy. But Michael Wilson will take any first in any year. But in 2026 in particular, you would really want like the 107 to the 110 range I'd be willing to sell him for. In 2026, Nico Collins. If we can pivot off of Nico, here are some names that I would pivot to if it was possible. Ted McMillan, obviously. Not Ted. Ted McMillan is a different person. I'm sure he's a great person, but not who we're talking about there. Pivoting to Carnell Tate. You know, I would love that. Pivoting to a George Pickens. Would love George Pickens there. A Emeka Egbuka. I'd probably rather bet on him long term. So there's a couple pivot options there, but yeah, not a bad team at all. Tight end is what worries me the most, but there's so many options on the waiver wire there that I wouldn't be too upset if you were able to kind of stream between the Chigs, Fergs, Stranges, Gadsdens. So, yeah, I hope that's helpful, man. Overall, I think you could probably keep the team as constructed. Sorry, I just realized you already have Pickens. You could probably keep the team as constructed and just kind of roll into the season. You have your 27 first. That's great. In season, if you feel like you're kind of missing one piece, you know, you can move that 27 first, whether that's an upgrade or an addition. Maybe that's a serious tight end. But right now, I think you've got the flexibility to kind of go into the season and see what happens. What's up, Papa Dunk? I did just get another team review from G. This must be you in the chat here, 1Q. 1GQ. Papa Dunk says, you calling it a day after this review? I was going to snag a review for my new startup. I've got time for sure. Yeah, no, I've got time on today's stream. So if you want to get a review in, I'm here. No pressure, obviously, but yeah, wasn't a big queue today. So I've got time to kind of, if you guys want to enter to get through your reviews for sure. We'll go to GQ Will here next, though. Thanks for person to Playbook, my friend. I'm excited to have a look at the squad. And you're here live with me, which is always fun. Your team, I'm assuming, is ranked first here. This is a Superflex Start 10. That is our middle ground, is what we would call it. But you either have 3 starting receivers or 3 flex spots that you're accounting for. Let's have a look. He says, just traded Egbuka for Walker moments ago, was weak at running back. I'd say that's a pretty even deal. Right now in startups, I think we're seeing Walker go slightly ahead, but it's pretty even. Let me see here. Egbuka, and I need to update this from last year, from this week, is typically the 37th player off the board, and Walker is typically 48th, but that doesn't include, you know, Walker kind of starting to rise in value since free agency. So I think that's pretty fair. Okay, so let's have a look. You've got no impactful picks this year. You don't have your first in 2027. I am kind of taking note of that before I read out the team, but we are starting Darnold and Dart. Don't love quarterback 2 there. Darnold was very much not an impact player, but I'm in some leagues where I'm relying on him as quarterback 2 as well. Then we've got Ken Walker, Breece Hall. You definitely needed an RB, and you have a lot of wide receiver strength, so that's a fair move that you made. You're also starting Neighbors, Jefferson, Loveland. Then we're flexing Rice, Collins, Thomas, or Addison, or McLaurin, Rashad White. I like the team, man. You know, just straight off the bat, you're very clearly a Windows open roster. You don't have your own first in 2027, which means we should do everything we can to go out there and try and compete and win right now. We won't benefit if we don't compete right now. You might be a little weak at RB 3-4 and quarterback 2. Darnold's a much better quarterback 3 than he is a 2. But I would say this is a really good team. I'm kind of leaning like B plus type of territory. I'll dock you slightly because you don't have your own pick, which limits your flexibility, and you don't have any impactful picks in 2026. But still, it's a pretty good team. Your untouchables on this team would be Malik Neighbors, and because there is no tight end premium, I'll put Justin Jefferson over Colson Loveland there. Players that I want to hold on this team, Matthew Golden. I think you need to hold a lot of these running backs, right? So Rashad White comes to mind. Jonathan Brooks comes to mind. Over there in Jacksonville, Chris Rodriguez. These are all really strong holds, guys that are in ambiguous situations where they could end up giving more value than the dynasty markets are currently projecting them to. So those are all really good, like potential Band-Aid running backs. You can easily drop Devin Singletary off this team. If you need to make more space, Devin Neal or James Conner. I don't see how Devin Neal makes an impact outside of an injury occurring. On the waiver wire, your waiver wire is pretty naked, man. Like, that's one of the more unattractive waiver wires I've seen today. So I'm not really too focused on adding someone there. But let's jump to the chalkboard here, because you have a first from Freak Offs Fantasy, and they are ranked second. And I think that won't be the most valuable pick if they're smart. They should be able to navigate this roster, right? I mean, in an ideal world, they're starting Love, Ward, or Rodgers, Chase Brown, and someone at RB2, Jason, Chase, Fannin, Lamb, London, Olave. That's a solid lineup. I think you'd be hard pressed to find a scenario in which they're not at least a 107 to 112 type of range. So I think you could afford to send that 27 first away for another running back. And I'm curious what our second could net us for running back 2. We could even look at 2 seconds. But in totality here, I would like to add a running back 3 and a quarterback 2 if possible. So let's look at some scenarios here where we could do that and try and find a good partner. Okay. So we're not going to... I will say, like, Chuba Hubbard in your scenario... I'm not that opposed to sending, like, a single second for Chuba Hubbard. Kind of giving you another little Band-Aid option there. That's not a permanent fix by any means. Okay, so... Tyler Shuck and Cam Scatterbu would be awesome. Tyler Shuck plus Cam Scatterbu. Could you get that done if you were to send, let's say, that 27 first plus 2 seconds? Does that get the job done? That would answer most of the concerns I have. I don't want Stroud. I want Shuck over Stroud there. Would you have to send something back? Does the deal only get done if you send back Matthew Golden? Okay, then we can send back Matthew Golden. I don't really prefer to do that, but not opposed to doing it. Let's keep looking, though. But that's a good partner for you to kind of try and trade with. Baker and Etienne. It's crazy, man. Every time I freaking do content around Travis Etienne or Etienne, however you would like to say it, someone is always leaving hate comments because, like, I truly don't know exactly how to say it anymore. I've heard at the press conference him say Etienne. I've heard afterwards him say Etienne. And obviously we all know, like, Etienne's not how you say it anymore. But, like, people are just gonna, like, people just get mad no matter what. I'm like, honestly, I will say it however he wants me to say it. It's just like, my gosh. Like someone today in a comment was like, they said, this has been widely explained. It's pronounced Achan. Pretending like we don't know, saying this is how we're saying it now, and being flippant is disrespectful. Become more knowledgeable. You should really work on being less of a jerk about it. I'm like, bro, like, I am just freaking saying the name. Like, bro, chill out. Oh my gosh. People will find any small reason to get upset on the internet nowadays. My God, like, so freaking soft. No one is being malicious when they're saying his name. It's clearly a name that we said one way for 4 years, and there's habits, and then there's different ways to pronounce it. Like, get off your damn high horse. Anyway, Travis Etienne, okay? Whatever. I will say it however he wants me to say it. But Baker Mayfield plus Travis. Right? Can you do that same type of deal? I would say that would definitely be a fix for you as well. You're not going to get Herbert and Saquon. That's too expensive. Goff. Ooh, Goff plus Bucky is a little risky right now, but yeah, I think I'd be willing to do that deal. Jared Goff plus Bucky Irving. I would do that. Ooh, Stafford and James Cook. Probably going to cost too much there. But with these seconds, like DeAndre Swift would be awesome. You know, obviously we've all... Derrick Henry would be great. If you can send 2 seconds for Josh Jacobs, that would be awesome. So, 2 seconds and taking a shot on a Bashul Tutin, I don't mind. So there's plenty of ways to kind of fix that, but I think you have a fantastic team. Transparently, you don't really have to make a single move. You can keep that first and that second right now and head into the season with what you've got. And then there'll be more teams around week 8 of the season who are ready to sell because they realize they're not serious contenders. Maybe that's when you can buy the veteran quarterback in the RB2s 3. That's an option for you as well. Your wide receiver room, Loveland, Dart, Walker, Brees should carry you through anyway. You've got plenty of, RB Band-Aids, if you will. So anyway, I hope that's helpful, man. I know you're in the chat. Let me know if you have any questions. If there's anything that I didn't ask that you have a question about, then feel free to hit me up here. More than happy to answer any questions that you feel like I didn't answer. I am not seeing a reply from you, but I'm going to leave the light on for you. Like, I'm still here to answer questions, but I'll probably go to Papa Dunk here next. But again, like I said, I'm leaving the light on for you here, seeing if you've got any final questions there. Papa Dunk, let me know if you're in the chat. And, yeah, I was talking to Sammy about this whole Travis Achan thing. And he believes that it's pronounced Etienne. Travis Etienne. And that's what I've been saying. But now people are telling me that I'm being malicious and disrespectful. It's like, oh my gosh. Hey, bro. Seriously? Okay, Papa, we're gonna move on to yours here, and I'm still waiting to see if I hear anything from GQ Will there. But this is a Superflex Start 10 lineup. It is a 10-teamer, so we should see some better teams. You are ranked 6th in this league. He says, hot off the press startup team, 0.5 PPR, 0.5 tight end premium. Thinking to just roll with the team for 1 year, keep my picks, and see what happens. Let's have a look, shall we? Okay. Players that are untouchable. Let's start with Jaden Daniels. Unk himself. CeeDee Lamb would be a close second there. Players that I want to hold right now. Keaton Mitchell. It's weird. I just have this feeling like he's going to be used in a really fun way. Jaden Higgins. I got a video on him coming out early next week. But I'm excited to see what he can become. Dazon Stribling, despite all the hate, I just want to see what his deployment could look like. And I do think Jawan Johnson's worth rostering as well. If you need to cut players to clear up space, there's not a lot of players. Calvin Ridley, I'm pretty easily cutting, personally. Jahan Dotson, I think you could cut as well if you wanted to. Sam Roush, I don't think he's going to be used much as a passer, or as a receiver, rather, is what I meant to say. On the waiver wire, ooh, man. Tez Johnson is interesting. I know they drafted Hurst, but Keenan Allen as well? Keenan should be rostered until we find out if he's playing or not. I'd much rather roster Keenan than Calvin Ridley, and Calvin Ridley has an NFL contract. But right now, we are starting Daniels, Mahomes, Taylor, Bucky, Lamb, Burden, Fannin. That's 7. We are then flexing probably Kraft, Watson, Warren. Like, this very much looks like a team that just finished a startup draft, right? Like, the flexes are never going to be as strong as you'd want them to be. I say this all the time, but hopefully if you're good at Dynasty, your team looks the worst it will ever look right after a startup, right? So, yeah, I would probably give you that sleeper tag. You know, you're certainly not the most dangerous contender we've ever seen, but it's not a bad team. By any means, and I'll probably give you C+, which again, like, you should be the worst version of yourself coming out of a startup draft. Look, I think it's hard to tear down off of CD, but I'm still entertaining it, right? And a tight end premium, I'm not forcing the Kraft or Fannin sell, but I would be open to looking at a trade for Fannin. I think Fannin would get you more value back in return, so I'd be open to looking at that trade. Malik Willis, I'm open to moving. Jalen Warren, I'm open to moving. Tony Pollard. And a lot of these guys are going to give you more value in season. So let's have a look, and let's start by just saying, if you could move Malik Willis for any first in any year, obviously you're doing that, right? In fact, I would even attach like a second in the future to go out and do that if there's a team who is contending. Maybe you have to wait until in season. He'll have some good streamable weeks with his rushing upside. Now, CeeDee Lamb. First off, if you could tear down to a Pickens, I really love that idea. This is G. Will, sorry. But a George Pickens plus what? You know, could you get George Pickens plus... Wow, this guy's team is actually pretty good. Well, first off, like, Carnell Tate would be a no-brainer. That's basically sending it in a startup draft, a first-round pick for 2 late thirds, early fourths.
In some leagues that's possible. In other leagues it won't be possible. I don't even mind doing this deal if we were to send, you know, a second back as well. I don't want to do it obviously for Mike Evans. Omar Cooper, I don't think that's enough for me to pull the trigger there. I do like the idea of Fernando Mendoza. I'm just wondering what the... That's not crazy. Maybe if you sent back Malik Willis in this trade, you could also ask back for Omar Cooper. Malik Willis, and then you're going to get back there Omar Cooper. You know, I think that could make a lot of sense. Fuji Apple says, Zach, I love your War Room format that you offer. Very unique to you and personalized. I appreciate that, man. Very kind of you. He said I was offered CD and Buckeye for Olave, Metcalf, and Brees. That's not enough, yeah. I can come up with a counter for you, though. So you said Chris Olave plus DK Metcalf plus Brees Hall. Yeah, well, that's not going to be enough. And we don't really... Yeah, I don't like that at all, actually. But I can try and come up with a counter if you're going to send both of those guys away to the Brees Hall owner. How about Brees? Yeah, he's shortchanging us big time there. Brees, Chris Olave. Give me Ted McMillan, and I will give you back Malik Willis. They could use a quarterback 3. Yeah, I don't see... Because I'm not doing this deal with Saquon, Metcalf, Kittle, Pitts, Dobbs, Pittman. So, probably I don't see a deal working out for you two. Okay, let's see. I don't mind a LaMcConkey plus first deal, but they don't have any first there. CD to Rice. Like in an ideal world, a Rashee Rice plus a 27 first is a no-brainer for CD. I actually really love that deal. If you can't get a first, I don't see a trade that would make sense for you then if you're not able to net a first back there. Also in talks of Bucky and Fannin for Brees and Olave. Bucky and Fannin for Brees and Olave. Yeah, I mean, I would probably do that. Bucky Irving plus Harold Fannin for Chris Olave plus Brees Hall, right? That's what we're looking at. I could see that making a lot of sense for your team. You still have Tucker Kraft. That would allow you to be more of a contender this year as well. I like that a lot, actually. Chris Olave, Brees Hall. Yeah. That makes sense. I like the Rice deal a lot. I wouldn't be opposed to a Egbuka in a first. Just so you know, I won't write all these down, but Egbuka in a first. If you did Lamb in a second for London in a first, I would do that. Zay Flowers in 2 firsts. You know, those type of deals. Nico in a first. But, yeah, overall, it's always hardest to trade coming right out of a startup. With Jaylen Warren, if we can get an early second in the future, we'll do that. Same with Pollard. If not for Pollard, can we get a second plus a third for him? That would be ideal. But Yeah, good team. Out of a startup, I like this team a lot. It gives you a lot of flexibility, a lot of different directions that you can take it. But let me know if you got any questions. If there's anything that I didn't answer, pop a dunk. I'd be happy to take some time here and answer those if there are any questions there. He says, I guess I don't know if I should shoot for really contending this season and focus on packaging picks and players or tier up. I personally like this trade where you get Breece Hall and Chris Olave allows you to accomplish both. All these trades still allow you to accomplish both of those tasks. But I wouldn't right now at this point. I think it's the worst time to send your own first away because there really aren't deep rosters yet. There's a lot of things that can go wrong. So I'd be open to some of the structures of the trades I'm suggesting here. I wouldn't be sending like your first straight up right now or using all your picks right now. You know, worst case scenario, you hold, you go into the season, and then if you're a real contender, you can send your first away when you have a better idea of knowing where you are, knowing if Burton's going to be reliable, Kraft from his injury coming back, what Higgins' role will be, Watson, you know, when's Mahomes playing. So right now, I think patience is probably your best friend, but yeah, I wouldn't be afraid in season if you see a pathway to be a serious contender to using your picks. But right now, deploy some patience. You know, you can look to sell. But yeah, I would be cautious to do anything too drastic right now. But I appreciate you, man. Thanks for letting me look at the squad. This was a fun one, y'all. Appreciate everybody hanging out with me, showing some love. And he says, love that advice. Thanks, man. Appreciate you. Zom, thanks for hanging out as always. Fuji Apple said, I'm a middle of the pack team hoping Pickens smashes this year. I do love me some George Pickens. I want him to stay in Dallas. I think we're all on the same page there for sure. All right, guys. That's it for today. One last thing I really want y'all to be aware of, okay? Next week, there are some pretty big things you should be aware of. Okay? The first one is it'll be the first day, the first time this year that I post on the Fantasyland Football channel. Okay? We're about to start posting on here more consistently. So if you are yet to subscribe to Fantasyland Football, I will spam this into the chat for you. And the other one is we've got the Fantasyland Shorts channel. So we're going to start posting short form content as well. And if you haven't subscribed over there, go subscribe. Appreciate y'all big time. If anybody wants to join the Orion League, obviously you have to be a land annual Mother Flocker member. But we have 5 spots remaining. If we still have 5 spots, we will raffle those off on Sunday night stream. But I believe we're going to post on Monday. I think Monday is when we'll start posting on the redraft channel. But guys, I appreciate you so much. Thanks for hanging out. Enjoy the rest of your weekend. I'll see you on Sunday night. Go take a second today. You know, obviously I love talking about football. It's a game within a game. But, you know, sometimes we got to take stock of our lives as well. So take a moment this weekend. If I can challenge you, just take a moment this weekend and just take a second, look at all the good things in your life, and, you know, whoever comes to mind, send them a text. If you're going to see them in person, let them know, like, hey, thinking about the good things in my life, you came to mind. Just want to say I appreciate you. You have no idea what a small little comment like that can do for people in your lives. You know, so anyway, appreciate y'all, and I'll see y'all on Sunday night. Nothing but love.